I was visiting family in North Wales, a small village near Red Wharf Bay. I live in Canterbury, and it was just over a 6-hour drive home. We had some drinks the night before, and I woke up feeling pretty foggy. I planned to stay at a hotel on the way home. I drove past Birmingham and found a small hotel just outside Coventry. It was a small independent hotel. I went online to see what the reviews were like, which were not good, but it was only £59 for one night. I just needed a place to get my head down, and I couldn't complain at the price. I waited at reception and rang the bell a couple of times. An old man came to the desk, who seemed pretty shocked to see me. The car park was empty, and it looked like the hotel was on its last legs. I asked for a single room for the night. The owner upgraded me straight away, free of charge, to a double room, which I was pretty happy about. It was on the first floor. The hotel was based over 3 floors, with only 20 to 30 rooms. The floorboards would creak under my feet, and the carpet looked as though it had not been changed for at least 30 years. I was shown to my room. My room was perfectly fine for one night. I had a double bed with a TV on the wall. I grabbed a shower, put the TV on, and I slowly drifted to sleep. I was woken to the sound of the floorboards creaking outside of my room. Somebody was outside my room, pacing up and down the hallway. This went on for what must have been 10 to 15 minutes. I got up and walked towards the door to ask whoever it was to please stop. As I approached the door, I looked through the peephole. There was no one there. I opened the door to look down the hallway, and I couldn't see anybody. As I got back into bed, I heard 3 hard kicks on my door. I got straight out of bed, opened the door, and once again, I was welcomed to an empty hallway. I walked up and down the halls, and I couldn't see any sign of life. I stood still to see if I could hear anything coming from any of the rooms. I listened intently, but all I got was a strange sense of absolute silence. At this point, I started to get nervous. I went back to my room and I called the reception desk. I told the old man somebody just kicked my door, and all I can hear are footsteps up and down the hallway. The hotel owner said that there are only 2 guests staying on your floor this evening, and they checked in hours ago. I will check the CCTV, and I'll call you back if you like. I said no, don't worry. I will call you if it happens again. I put the TV back on, as I always find background music noise helps me fall asleep. I must have drifted off to sleep, and woke again in the early hours. It was around 3 a.m. I got up to go to the toilet. The light from the bathroom would reflect onto the hotel door. I noticed at the bottom of the door there was a note left for me. The note read, "Sleep tight, Chris." I grabbed my bag and packed up the little I had on me and ran down to the reception. I chucked everything into my car, but soon realised I still had the hotel key on me. I ran back to the reception desk. I showed the owner the note that was left for me. I said, "You are the only person that knows my name here. Why did you do this, you freak?" The owner promised that it wasn't him. He also said he checked the CCTV from earlier and said nobody kicked your door. I checked the whole night. I asked for a refund and said I'm checking out right now. The owner refunded me straight away. He kept apologising for what happened and assured me it wasn't him. I told him, "How can you explain this note?" He said I cannot explain the note, but that he bought this hotel over 10 years ago. The first 7 years were great, but the past 3, strange things have been happening. Stuff that he can't explain. Guests complaining about weird things happening while they stay here. I've still got a picture of the note now. It looked like it had been wrote by a kid. but I just got my refund, checked out, and I never looked back. This happened to me 5 years ago. I was staying in London with my ex-girlfriend for 2 nights. She lived in Lewisham, studying at university, so I would often come up and visit. I hated staying in her halls, so I would just book us a hotel for the night. I would usually book the regular Premier Inn, but it was fully booked, so I managed to find a cheap hotel, not too far from Lewisham. The relationship I had with my ex was pretty volatile, and we would often argue. Anyway, on the second night, a group of her friends and I went out for drinks, close to the city centre, and I found out through one of her friends that my ex had been cheating on me for months. To top things off, it was pretty late at night, and there were no more trains home. I decided to get out of the situation, and got the tube back to the hotel. Luckily, I met my girlfriend at her halls, so she had no idea where I was staying for the night. I remember not feeling too upset about hearing my ex had been cheating on me. I was embarrassed, but it gave me a way out of the relationship that I wasn't happy in. I got back to the hotel. It must have been around 2 a.m. in the morning. I was feeling pretty drunk at this stage, but I was slowly sobering up. My room had a double bed, opposite was a wardrobe and a bathroom. I must have had over 20 missed calls on my phone, so I put on Do Not Disturb and went straight to sleep. This is where things took a turn for the worse. It must have been around 4 a.m. that I woke up to the sound of the wind and rain hitting the window and the slow creak of the wardrobe door opening. None of the windows were open, and it made no sense that the wardrobe door could open by itself. I got up to go to the bathroom. As I did, I closed the wardrobe door. When I got back into bed, I noticed my pillows were on the floor, one on top of each other, like they'd been neatly stacked. I'm positive, in fact, I know I did not put them there. I nervously grabbed one of the pillows and pulled the duvet over me. The creaking sound of the wardrobe opening again sent shivers down my spine. Followed by the terrifying sound of the wardrobe door slamming closed. A loud bang came from the bathroom. At this moment, I was absolutely terrified. My heart was racing through my chest. I didn't know what was going on, but all I did know was this room was surely haunted by a poltergeist. I got straight out of bed, put my jeans on, grabbed my phone and headed straight for the Underground and back to Paddington Station. The first train wasn't until 5:30 in the morning, so I had to wait for a little bit. This was honestly one of the weirdest and most terrifying weekends of my life. This happened to me when I was traveling North America. It was 2008. I was 23 and slowly running out of money. I was in Los Angeles and planned to travel to see friends in a couple of days in Las Vegas. I booked the cheapest hotel room I could find on booking.com, and not too far from Hollywood Boulevard, I found a room with breakfast for just $39. It was a pretty run-down hotel, but it offered me a bed for the night and breakfast the following morning, so I didn't have too much to complain about. I remembered it was a Monday and Tuesday night that I was staying. I was meeting friends in Las Vegas on the Wednesday. The first night I slept pretty good. I woke up around 7:30 in the morning, grabbed a shower, headed downstairs to a small seated area for breakfast. It was a buffet breakfast being served by the hotel owner that I'd met when I checked in. I noticed a lonely traveller, sat by herself and not eating anything. I asked if she minded if I sat next to her for breakfast, which she didn't. We soon sparked a conversation. Her name was Kelly, she was 23 and from Colorado. She had been staying at the hotel for a couple of weeks while she was in the process of moving apartments. I told her that I'm only in LA for a couple of days and if she could recommend any places in particular to check out. She recommended taking a hike around the Hollywood Hills, and that she would be happy to show me a particular hike. She said meet me at Canyon Drive at 3 p.m. that afternoon. I remember after this, I went to a diner for lunch, and I ordered a double cheeseburger with fries and a large Coke. I wanted to get as many calories in before the big hike. I made my way over to Canyon Drive for around 2:45 and waited for Kelly to arrive. 30 minutes went by, and she didn't arrive. I waited until 3:30 p.m. and realised she wasn't going to show. I worked out the trail from my phone, and I did the hike by myself. I must have arrived back at the hotel for around 8 p.m. I grabbed a shower and I got an early night. I had to be up early for a flight to Vegas the following morning. I was hoping to bump into Kelly the following morning at breakfast, but she was not there. I was intrigued to know where she had gone, and so I spoke to the hotel owner. I asked where Kelly was. We were planning a hike at Canyon Trail yesterday, but she never turned up. The owner looked at me, somewhat confused, and didn't speak. I said the girl that I sat with yesterday morning, at the table, she wasn't eating. She was staying here while she moved apartments. I know who you mean, replied the hotel owner. Kelly was not here yesterday. You were not sitting with anyone at the table. The person you're talking about was murdered in this hotel over 2 years ago. You must have got the wrong person, I said. Look, there's a camera in the corner. You will see me yesterday morning talking to a 23-year-old girl called Kelly. This is where things got creepy. The owner showed me the CCTV from yesterday morning. You can see me taking my food to a table. I stop at the table and say something. I sit down and talk to a wall and an empty chair. I thought I was going crazy. We watched the video 3, maybe 4 times, and Kelly was not there. She was never there. I asked the hotel owner what had happened to Kelly. She could not tell me a lot, as it's still being investigated, but said you're not the only person to have seen Kelly roaming the hotel. I soon packed my bag and made my way to LAX airport and spent the last few years trying to forget about my terrifying time in Los Angeles.